Hi, it's John Terry with Vision Advisors, and I want to welcome you to this very exciting insight where we're going to have an opportunity to talk with someone you've never had an opportunity to meet with before. I've had an opportunity to connect with this incredible lady, Jane, about 2 years ago that we connected for the first time, if that long ago.
Yeah, I don't even think that long.
It may not be that long ago. It may have been last year when we connected. Matter of fact, it was last year during the pandemic that we connected. Jane and I connected in a summit, and it has been one of the most incredible relationships I've had an opportunity to learn to glean insights from, because she has a very unique brilliance that she's going to bring to our audience today. Jane is a specialist in what's known as an infomercial. Now, you may say, what the heck is an infomercial? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, Jane, I want to start off by just asking the question, who is Jane Powers, and why should the people that are listening to this podcast today have an opportunity to really lean in and see what you have to say?
So again, I'm Jane Powers, and I still don't know who I am. I'm growing into that at some point. I know I'll never grow up, but I can give you where I've been and tell you where I'd like to go. But I like to always say, people go, well, who is Jane Powers? She's a big deal. Why? Because I said so. Like, that's the most important thing. Actually, my career actually started in the prison, drug and alcohol treatment centers. From there, I became a counselor. I specialized in intervention, sexual abuse, counseling, and just about everything. I was working the front lines. And then I decided, I think I should maybe make some money. What a great concept. So I went into the employment industry. I was in the employment industry as a turnaround specialist for about 11 years, title real estate, and then became an entrepreneur in the world of coaching. First started out as a spiritual life coach. I don't know if you know that, John. I started out as a spiritual life coach, and people kept wanting to Zen and I want them to Zen while going 832 miles an hour getting results. So it was not the best fit. And people kept asking me, they're like, how the heck are you doing so well as a spiritual life coach in corporate America? And I said, I don't know, I speak and I sell. And they said, you should make that your business. So here I am. Let's Talk Impact is my business, and entrepreneurs hire me to speak with confidence and sell with authority.
Awesome. So who are some of the clients that you do serve today, and how are they benefiting from the infomercial?
Oh my God, I love that, because I know people ask me, they're like, where did the infomercial come from? And I am telling you, it was years of cultivating an idea. I don't even know where. I swear to you, I can't even remember the steps. It just all of a sudden dropped out of my brain onto my desk, and I went, that's it. But I work with, you name it, I work with every industry on the planet, because you're aware of the old-fashioned elevator pitch.
Absolutely.
People say, what's your work in the world? What do you do for a living? And you say, I'm a lawyer, or I'm a network marketer, or I sell insurance, and people are running because they're like, oh, that's not a conversation I want to get into. So what I've discovered, every industry needs to have something that gains people's attention. More importantly, individuals that are looking to move people into action or sell something. So, gosh, who do I work with? You name it. Entrepreneurs, business owners, executives. I have my most recent one, I guess it's going on about 6 months ago, a district manager in the area of Arizona and surrounding area of Farmers Insurance. He was a very 27 years as a district manager. I remember, I love this. Let me demonstrate. So I go to National Speakers Association. I hear a woman stand up as a new member or a new guest, introduced herself, and everybody's like, oh, okay. We don't know what she does, but I knew she needed some coaching to get her business out in the world. So I went over and I said, I'm Jane Powers. Entrepreneurs hire me to speak with confidence and sell with authority, because most are boring, confusing, and inconsistent and cannot articulate their message clearly enough to sell. So I help them connect, capture, and close their ideal audience. Bottom line, every time you open your mouth, you make money. I want you Every time you open your mouth with your new business to make money, give me a call. She said, excellent. That is about 17, let's say 25 seconds, that conversation, because I was running out the door, she was running out the door.
Mhm.
We get on a call. 20 minutes later, I sold her my $24,000 coaching package. You do the math on that. 20 minutes plus about 20 seconds. That's not a bad payday. The cost of that lead was a fraction of the profit. So I have worked in organizations. I do a lot of sales training in corporations. I do a lot of speaker training, leadership training, and I always go in and teach the infomercial, because every individual in an organization should be a magnet to gaining a reputation, customer relations, prospecting, lead generating.
Yeah. We spend a lot of time in this particular podcast, Insight, talking about getting in front of your ideal customer, attracting them to you. We teach an attractional sales model. And, we heard the old elevator pitch story that you've got that short window of time to have a conversation with someone. And I love your approach. Now, those in the audience may have heard the unique selling proposition or the value proposition statement. How does an infomercial differ from what maybe we've been taught as a USP in the past?
Oh, it's light years apart, because what most people write the elevator pitch. Now, I started out, it was funny, we were in Kansas City this last weekend. I do real estate investing, and I help investors find properties. So I'm in Kansas City, and I'm doing a tour, and I'm walking past these buildings, and I'm sitting around like, I used to cold call. Like, I'd find a building like that with a bunch of names on the sign out front. I'd go in and I would cold call. And every time I'd go in, I had an attention getting statement that people would go, oh, it distracted them. And then I'd introduce myself and I would say, I help companies do this. That's our elevator pitch, right? I help, I work with, I do. So the greatest difference is when you say I help, in the mind, you might sound like a volunteer. The difference that I have, there's 3 components to this 17.5 second statement. 3 components: position me, position them, position the offer or benefit or content, whatever that looks like. So when you say I help, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. When I say entrepreneurs, businesses, executives, hire me, that says you have a viable business. People pay me for what I do rather than I help. We'll get to say I help within the infomercial, but the opening line, stop saying I help. If you do anything, individuals, hire me, whomever that is, hire me too. Trust me when I tell you this, that'll make you millions right off the bat.
Absolutely.
It will change the perspective.
Yeah. I just spent this week and I just did a training on how to get in front of your target audience, and was talking about the fact that you've got to know who you're selling to. And if you're trying to sell to everybody, you're selling to nobody, because your message becomes so watered down, it's ineffective. And that's essentially what you're saying. You're defining who it is that you actually work with. So you're repelling the people that you don't want to work with, but you're letting that audience know, I specifically work with you in this area. That's powerful. Yeah.
And the truth is, I start very general. A lot of people say I'm working with everybody and anybody. For the purpose of the infomercial, just reduce it about 20%. Don't go all the way down where you're like 5'5" in the Midwest with blonde hair. They must be women and they have to have glasses. Now I've got the most narrow market that my brain can't handle it. And so what I say is just reduce it down. If you work with everybody and anybody, pick men or women. Now, what if I'm in front of, for instance, I do speaking and sales training. That can be my niche topic. Just about everybody needs experience in speaking and selling. My greatest client was an owner of 3 Dairy Queens. I work with a lot of real estate investors. I work with a lot of financial advisors. One of my greatest clients out in, well, she started out in Texas. Now she's with her grandkids over in Kansas, I believe. She owned a brokerage. She was a broker owner of a financial planning institution. And we went in and did training all day long on your infomercial, and your messaging. Because truth be told, that is sales. I hate selling, and I'm a sales trainer. But the sales part is what you're saying, how you're saying it in the right order with the right results. So what I've done after 30 years of sales training, 30 years of speaking, I did a mashup of my sales conversation and presentations and how to close the deal within that time frame. So it truly, it is, how do you, and we all know this, finding the right leads, that's the hardest work in any business.
That's right.
You wake up and you go, where's my next client coming from?
Yeah,
Wherever they are. Now you got to go find them.
that's right. So, Jane, our audience we're talking to today are insurance agents. They are investment professionals. They may work with a stock brokerage agency. Why do those individuals need an infomercial?
Same reason someone who owns a Dairy Queen needs an infomercial. That is the cornerstone. Here's how I like to describe the infomercial. It's a door opener, it's a door closer, and it's a door stop. So you have the option. People are not going to sit and listen to you explain about insurance or about financial planning. They're like, yeah, I know Bob next door. He's a financial planner. Judy, she's wonderful at that. So a lot of times we're just too much in a hurry to listen. The infomercial has two factors that are powerful. It has not only the right languaging in the right order, but it has what I call pattern interrupts. Because after about 7 seconds, we're snoozing. We're like, oh God, here goes another dissertation about what somebody does. So what I've done is I've inserted the right words that have people go, what? I'm listening again. So we have in there, as you heard mine, because most. When I say the word because, the brain is proven, statistically proven, the brain says why. And you know where that came from. We wanted to go outside and play. And our mom said, no, you can't. And we said, why? And she'd say, because. And we'd say, why? And she'd yet again say, because. And we said, why? It became a pattern of our upbringing, unfortunately. Yeah. And then the next segment that is grabbing their attention again is the word so. So I help. So triggers the question, so what? So what? Oh, now I'm listening again. So each time we don't give the brain enough time to go off to the beach in Hawaii with their feet in the sand and an umbrella in their drink. We give them enough of a cadence that allows them to say, all right, I'm still here. Holy God, I know exactly what you do. I need you.
You know, the thing I like about your infomercial and the way it's been put together is it speaks to what the individual uniquely does, but more importantly, how it benefits the end user that's going to use the product or service that that individual offers. Because as you and I both know as sales trainers, people don't give a rat's hind end about you or me or a product or service. They want to know what our solution is going to do to solve a problem, to help them overcome a fear or achieve an outcome. And so your infomercial that you put together very uniquely, and there's some unique psychological things that you do in there that I really love because of my background in human intelligence. I love just to dissect what you're doing and see those unique elements in that. Jane, can you take a few minutes and just maybe do some infomercial 101 training with our audience
Absolutely.
And give them an opportunity to see what you do?
Yeah, and I want to apologize in advance because the infomercial is brilliant. It is wonderful. It is hard to put together. It's not impossible, but it does take some time to be able to break down the components. So remember I said, position me, position them, position your content or offer. So position me is basically, I'm awesome. You've got to think of it from the chunking of those three components. How do we break that down? First and foremost, just simply write down who hires you. Executives, business owners, women, men, parents. Write down who hires you. Just write it down. Parents hire me too. This is the hard part. The Holy Grail of what you do. Mine happens to be my book title. That's a shameless plug. Mine happens to be my book title, right? Entrepreneurs hire me too. My Holy Grail is the ultimate outcome. the ultimate outcome of what you do. So the holy grail of mine is to speak with confidence and sell with authority. There's two words in there. People go, I need to speak and I need to sell. The with authority and confidence are more of the masculine. They're the results.
Right.
So people immediately go, I need those, and it feels powerful. So your holy grail, don't make it lengthy. It's got to be a short statement. If you have a tagline, if you have a book title, you've got to really find what's the ultimate outcome. Here's the best game that you can play. If you go, well, they're going to feel happy. Yeah. So what, then what? It's the best, most frustrating game on planet Earth. I work with people on their infomercials and I'll be like, yeah, so what, then what? And they're like, oh, then they feel joy. Yes, so what, then what? And they're like, if they feel joy, then they're unstuck. Nothing is making sense to me. It's got to speak to the highest level. I'll give you an example. Heidi Mount. Heidi Mount is a consultant for dentists. We started working together. Her infomercial, dentists hire me to reveal the hidden revenue in their appointment book. Heidi, her guarantee is I will find, it started out $500 a day in your appointment book. She increased it to $1,000 a day because she'd get in there, she'd say, here's some revenue you're missing. So think of it as the ultimate outcome of what you offer. So the holy grail, then you must say because, keep it in this order. Position me, I'm awesome. Entrepreneurs hire me to speak with confidence and sell with authority. My earlier one was hire me to unleash the world-class speaker in them. That's pretty cool. But then I'd get to the bottom and I'd say, speak with confidence, sell with authority. And they'd go, oh, you do sales training? And I thought, oh, that's all I do. It happens to be through the vehicle of speaking. So I moved that up to the top. So holy grail is the ultimate outcome of what you do. Then you state because, please keep the word most in there. Because if I got on here and I said, speak with confidence, sell with authority, because you are boring, confusing, and inconsistent. That's just plain old offensive. Like that is just
right.
rude.
Yeah, you don't want to tick your audience off, do you? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want to be popular, right away point the finger and go, you're all boring, confusing, and inconsistent. Now, you can get into your talk at about, 30% in. I've done this before where I just stop and I go, I just have to tell you something, you're all pretty much screwed. And then they're all high five and they're like, oh my gosh, told us we're screwed. But you have to wait and gain that credibility. So because most are 3 pain points. They don't have to be one word. It took me a while to get to boring, confusing, and inconsistent. And I never really wanted to say that because I thought it's still a little rude. But every time I'd watch somebody, I'm like, oh, they are boring. I don't even know what they're talking about. And I thought, I'm just going to say it. And quite frankly, that is what has made me millions because nobody else is telling them that. So 3 pain points. Then you go into, so I help. Yay, we get to say I help. So I help. Connect, capture, and close. Whatever it is, you have the 3 benefits. Whatever those 3 benefits are, you bring those into that final statement. The bottom line is essentially why don't you get this? Every time you open your mouth, you'll make money. And they're like, oh, why didn't you say that to begin with? So the bottom line is almost a summary, not a lengthy summary. It's a statement that is almost like that last knockout punch. So the formula is it is so calculated. Position me, position them, position your offer, and then you move right into your bottom line. The infomercial is used everywhere and anywhere, and it is canned. I mean, you don't want to sound like you're reading it and make it sound like this. I will go to networking. I will go meet somebody and they'll say to me, what's your work in the world? And I go, oh, thanks for asking. Entrepreneurs, they hire me to speak with confidence and sell with authority. And you know why? Because and it's a conversational delivery. I say it every time. Here's the best part. You get yourself an infomercial. Every time, I promise you, you will go to a networking event or you'll go to something and you'll stand up and you'll deliver it and people's jaws will drop and they'll go, what? I am not following that. I get it all the time. That's what you want. You want people saying, I don't want to follow that. What that says is you've made an impact and they know exactly what you do.
Right. And the other thing I like about your infomercial, I think is very powerful, is that after that has been delivered, the audience that you're delivering it to leans in and they say, Jane, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And what has that just done? It's opened the door to have that extended conversation about who you are, what you do, and how you uniquely solve their problem.
And you're cutting to the chase.
That's
Here's
right.
what I find. I find a lot of people want to tell their story as their opener. I see it I see coaches out there training people to tell their story. It reminds me of timeshare. Nothing against it. It's a brilliant industry, but timeshare salespeople, here's my family. Here's how we grew up. It doesn't help us to get to the point of why I'm here. People don't care about your story until they know you care about them.
That's right.
But the only way you get to tell your story is to gain credibility and a relationship with the audience. I don't care if it's one-on-one or one-on-many. I've worked with so many financial planners, insurance. I think you named a few others. I've worked with just about every industry. I go into banks and train how the heck to deliver an infomercial. Most deliver an infomercial. We have the Thigh Master. The Thigh Master is made like this. And when you get this, you're going to take it. Nobody cares.
That's right.
They only care what's my ultimate outcome and can you do it? And when you stand up with confidence and you deliver an infomercial, people go, I need that. Now, another industry I've worked a ton, realtors in the real estate market, because the real estate market, what makes you stand out? Oh, I'm available 24/7 and I give great service. Yeah, you and everybody else.
That's
We've
right.
got to find your unique value. What makes you so unique? People go, yeah, I need that. What makes me unique is I'm willing to say you're boring, confusing, and inconsistent. And people laugh. They'll go, that's me. I am so boring. I've had people come up and go, that's me.
Yeah.
I mean, so it truly, I delivered the infomercial one time and a woman came up to me and she said, I am not boring, confusing, and inconsistent, and I want to prove it to you. And I said, how? She said, I have a speaking engagement tonight. Come and see me speak. And I said, why would I do that? She said, because I think you'll enjoy it. And I said, I'll make a deal with you. If you are not boring, confusing, or inconsistent, if you hit one of those, you will give me your credit card on the spot and you will work with me. And she said, easy enough. So I went and I was in the back and I am taking notes and she's thinking, I'm killing it. I am doing so well. Jane is, What I was doing was I was writing everywhere she was boring, confused me, and when she was inconsistent in her offer. And then I wrote every spot in her presentation that she lost money. And at the end, I walked up to everybody. She's like all very proud. And I said, so here's the notes. And what is the best credit card for you to put it on? And she goes, are you kidding me? And I said, no, you're going to look at where you lost money. And handed me a credit card, worked with me, and never spoke the same again. Never spoke the same again.
You know, it's amazing. I've watched you work in a room, and you and I have been in several summits together. And as we've heard people introduce themselves, having been around you and learned the infomercial to some degree, you know, I look over and I'm watching for your eyes to start rolling, and I'm trying real hard not for mine to roll. And then all of a sudden, just out of the kindness of your heart, you reach out and say, let me help you with this. And that's been something very powerful. Now, let me ask you, Jane, because you mentioned it. How many times do we drift from having this very concise infomercial that says who we are, what we do, and how we benefit the client? How do we find ourselves transitioning into that from intro to infomercial, where we start becoming the QVC of our business?
Here's what I'll tell you. The majority of the time, it happens when you're reading or think you're reading the audience and the audience is saying, well, that's not enough. Most of the time, people go from an infomercial to morphing it into home shopping network is when they don't feel confident or they're not giving it a value. I'm working with a client, a couple that speak, And oh my goodness, I put a slide together. I don't think you should use too many words. I put a slide together with a maximum of 6 words. It comes back with 800 words. They feel the more information, and they're tax strategists, financial folks, investors, and they want to give data, because that's how they learn. That's how they process. If they want more information, then I can buy. So what happens, most people default to their buying style.
That's right. Yeah.
And end up delivering information as they would want it. And you've got different personalities out there. The reason I wrote that infomercial in such a succinct formula is it speaks to the different personality types that you're dealing with. And oh my God, I can spend hours on the science behind who is it speaking to, what segment, what words actually draw individuals in, and what words actually will capture the hearts, the minds, and the soul, and the buying power of your ideal audience. It doesn't matter. But a lot of times it's, I haven't added enough value. Maybe they don't trust me. Maybe they need more in order to feel comfortable with what I'm offering. And then it just becomes data dumping. And people go, oh, God, Judy gets up every time and has to tell us everything about her business. We get what she does. What they don't get is the unique value proposition.
Right.
What's unique about you?
I describe it as you've got to position yourself that in a pond full of yellow ducks, you're the only blue duck in the pond. And that's the uniqueness of what your infomercial does. And just like real estate agents, there's an insurance agent on every corner. And if you come in and you say, I sell life insurance, well, so what? So do 200 other people in this town. I sell investments. So do another 150 people. What makes you unique? What makes you different? This is where this infomercial that you've put together is so powerful. Now, Jane, as we wrap this up, I know people are saying, I'd love to hire Jane, but I don't know if I can afford Jane because she may be more expensive than what I've got. You've got a unique offer that you've put together for the people that are watching this and having an opportunity to glean from your expertise in an affordable manner. Do you mind sharing with us what that is?
Yeah, and people keep telling me you've lost your mind. It is my Rain Man trick putting together the infomercial, and here's part of my. It drives me at, and maybe maybe it's selfish. Maybe I did it at this stupidly low price because I am selfish. I cannot stand hearing people introduce themselves. And again, we all roll our eyes and we're like, that was 60. No, 60 seconds turned into 60 minutes. And we still don't know what they do, or we don't care what they do. So the infomercial is what I've done is at infomercialimpact.com, you can jump in, you can get not one, not two, and don't answer yet. You're going to get 3 infomercials. Do you need 3? No. But what I know is people want choices. So we used to use AI, and John, I am impressed to say I'm smarter than AI. It cannot figure out the formula. It is the worst student that I've ever experienced. Our AI is so uncoachable. I ditched AI. We are calling it the infomercial. You're going to like this, the infomercial quickie. What that basically means, quick for you, I provide the results. So you're going to go to infomercialimpact.com. It is going to ask you for a few questions. It's going to take you about 4 minutes. You fill in the questions. It comes to me. I personally sit down and create 3 infomercials for you. Then you decide, do I want to mix and match? Do I want to take the pain points and put them here? Because I love this Holy Grail. You get to mix and match them. And I just showed you, John, we now have voiceover actors that will do your infomercial to it's a slide presentation. It's very sexy. It's very cool. And people are loving that. That again is ridiculously affordable. So if you would like, not 1, not 2, but 3 infomercials made by me, all you have to do is fill out a few questions and we'll get it back to you as soon as I possibly can. I usually do them within 24 to 48 hours.
Awesome. And what's that website once again, Jane?
Infomercialimpact.com.
Infomercialimpact.com. Awesome. So, Jane, as we wrap up this particular episode of Insight, is there any final words that you want to share with our listening audience for today?
Yeah, my most important thing I say to every single person out there, because I hear a lot of people sounding like everyone else, be you and stand in your own unique message. And that doesn't matter whatever method you have to do that, whether it's an infomercial or something that just makes you stand out. Don't be a copycat. Stay within the truth of who you are and let that shine, because that is what will sell.
Absolutely. Well, Jane, I want to thank you for being our guest today, and for all of you that are participating in our ongoing series of learning how to become a better version of yourself and really learning how to stand out in the crowd. I hope this has been beneficial for you. I'm John Terry with Vision Advisors. I want to say thanks for joining me, and have a great day.